Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Vicki. I am so thrilled to have someone who I believe I now can call my friend, Joelle.
Yeah.
She's amazing, and I'm so excited to have this conversation. I know that there will be so much depth, beauty, and vulnerability and authenticity that will come through from here because that's who Joelle is. So let's dive right in. I'm going to turn it over to you, Joelle. I'm going to ask you my favorite question. This is a question I ask everyone. And so the question is, Joelle, who are you?
Um, I'm again, that changes every day. Today again, I'm a mom, I'm a special needs parent, I'm a teacher, um, I'm an artist. And when I have time, I try and be a bit of me and have a bit of fun just for me when it fits in there. Again, it's crazy. I just feel like I have this compartmentalized identity, like just everywhere.
Yeah, there are the all of these hats that we wear, right? And it changes day to day, and it changes even like situation to situation and hour to hour, right? Because you come home from work, you're now a mom, you're at work, you're this professional or a teacher,
Yeah.
right? Or like you're at nighttime and the kids are having a fit, you're a firefighter, right? And a problem solver. So yeah, like absolutely, I can completely relate with having all
Yeah.
of um different personas that we have to wear throughout the day
Yeah,
just to get through the
exactly.
day. So Joelle, you have such a powerful story, and behind that smile there is so much behind that smile that you carry so graciously every single day. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your story, your journey, and really how you got to where you are today? So um share, tell us kind of like the path towards where how you've gotten to where you are today.
Um, Basically, I mean, I look back. I mean, as when I was a child, definitely looking back, realized I was very anxious, trying to please people, trying to always, thinking maybe that's taught from dad, like just always present your perfect self again. And then as I got older, I kind of became more myself. But then again, you enjoy your 20s and then finally got married, decide to have children, have, that finally I'm finally there. I have my family, I have kids. And again, of course, went through infertility. So that again, a bit more of a struggle there. And again, doing that couple of years of watching all these people have their family and going, why is it so hard? Like, this is just not fair. And going to counseling and trying to figure it out. But again, through all that, I ended up with my beautiful two children. Finally, when we gave up, and the funny thing is, we gave up one summer and went, I'm done. Term, this is a binder. No more adoption. No more this. This is just too much. It's just not meant to be. Let's just be rich and travel the world. Finally enough, that didn't happen. Um, and so we went on this really great vacation, came back and got this call and said, hey, would you like to foster a child? And I'm like, what, you want me to what now? And it was really quite, and I do distinctly remember that morning to get where I'm at today again, that seeing a deer as I drove to school going through a field which I've never seen before. It was really weird. I remember that more, and then that afternoon getting that message, and again, someone saying, would you like to foster to adopt a baby? And I'm going, huh? Uh, and the funniest part about the whole conversation was, you just have to let us know by 7 p.m. Like, excuse me?
Life altering decision. I need you to let me know like in an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, what would you like to say? So I think it's an easy question, but what? Yeah, well, huh? So basically, after all that, going through all that, I mean, got this amazing little boy, Logan, again, and and then my second little miracle happened. We actually had a little girl through surrogacy,
Mhm.
because I realized, you know what, I'm not going through all that again. I'm too
Yeah.
old for this, and there's kids, and had really great parents who helped me through it, and then basically, luckily, the lady who did it for me sent me a lovely little picture one day saying, your little boy has a sister. I'm like, oh, 2 years apart. That was quick. So we did all that and that was great. And then of course, years later, again, we get to now more so Logan, we discovered had some needs, not again, more meltdowns. We didn't quite know why he didn't quite cope with school, why he just spoke late, why he just, again, we noticed he was different. Like again, we thought down the road, we thought, oh no, he's just a boy. He's going to get a grow out of it, and that's what everyone said to us. He's a boy. I mean, it's
How,
funny how they always.
how old was he when you adopted him? I'm curious.
He was at 7 days old, actually.
Oh, so he was like newborn, newborn. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
little
okay,
boy, yeah, little boy. We're very lucky. He didn't
yeah,
know any different.
yeah.
Um, and he was actually, funnily enough, 5.5 pounds, a preemie little baby.
Mhm.
But now he's like this huge boy. So you wouldn't guess. You're like, what happened to you? Yeah. And then basically what happened is, we, do think so. It's my son, my husband. I'll move rooms. Give me a second.
No worries.
That's okay. My husband just come upstairs.
Hey, this
Um,
is life now. This is how we are today.
and you do not want to see my little girl's room right now. It's a sty. Anyway, and then years later, as he started school, realizing that he couldn't cope with friends, he was, aggressive. He was, again, little things that we didn't realize. Just couldn't, had to be the one-on-one, the meltdowns, and again, we didn't know what it was, which led, and again, and this is still at the stage where we didn't know. We just thought, a lot of people just say, well, he's just misbehaved. He's just naughty. He's just this, because there was no diagnosis yet, to be honest. And then again, I think about really think, and again, at age 2, very sadly, was it 2 or 3? Maybe 3. He actually got politely asked to leave his preschool, one of the first ones he got asked to leave for biting others. So it's very sad. And at the time we didn't know why he did it. We just went, oh, okay. Not quite sure. It was by an email, a nice gentle email, your child's been doing this, da 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 da. And I went, okay, I'm not expecting this. So then we kind of knew something's kind of what's going on here. What can we do? Then we found this great Montessori school for him, and he's amazing. And then it was more nature type, so they were really good with him. And again, so they would have a 1-to-1 with him, and it got better. But I would still have to always go on trips with them and in big groups, realizing he wasn't coping. It wasn't handling, the usual typical developing the friendships, all that. And again, even then, we just didn't know exactly. We thought maybe he's just still young, right? He's just a little boy.
I want to
So
I want to pause here because I have 2 kids now, right? So I've
yeah,
been through the whole infant toddler having to put them through daycare. And it's fascinating what you're pointing out because as a parent, especially in the beginning and especially with your first kid, you just
yeah,
don't know what to anticipate, number one. But number two, a lot of times you never think that it's actually that something is different with your kid. You're like, it's the environment, maybe it's the kids, maybe it's the teacher,
yeah,
maybe they're not catering to him the right way, right? And so what I think we're inclined to do is we just tend to like literally take them and place them from place to place to place to place because we don't know how to diagnose what's happening, right? And I
yeah,
think you almost never ever would think that this is maybe something that is different that's happening with your kid that you need to start to get underneath. And the other problem I think is also when the kid is so young, it could be so many different things. And the doctors, I know a lot of times if I would ask the doctor, they'd be like, oh, they're going to grow out of it. It's just a stage. Oh, they're going to grow
yeah,
out of it. Right. And so you can't really get the proper help to help your child, right? Because it's so trial and error at that point in the child's development, right? Oh, they're going to grow out of it. Oh, that's just, and the
yeah,
things that you're describing to me, I absolutely can resonate with as a young, like when I was a young mom, because I would have these questions sometimes, right? And I would be in the exact same boat. Not, I mean, my kids didn't go through that, but I'm just saying, like, I know
no, I know what
exactly
you
where
mean.
you're coming from because so many of the first time parents, that's exactly where we are in the not knowing. And the doctors are just kind of like, let's just keep trying. And, and you
Yeah.
you can't pinpoint. And it's nobody's fault. It's not the doctor's fault. It's no one's fault. It's just a difficult situation, is what it is.
Well, and this is the thing. It is a lot of them don't know and they don't understand. And the hardest part looking back at that is the parents, again, even as you get older, and we went to like older school and moved over here, you could see your child more and more get stands out because they can't, and again, like you find out, okay, when we finally need the one-to-one, like I think reception, I think kindergarten will really think start to take a toll. And okay, we need to look at what's going on and go to early needs learning, basically, find out what's going on. Because as soon as my little guy was out of whack or not feeling good, it was like the arms would go take everything off or throw things or try and grab glasses or pinch and you name it. And again, the key thing that they did, that thank goodness reception was amazing, she would discover that as soon as he started trying to knock stuff over, she said, oh, he's done, he needs out of here. Like he had this key moment where he just could not cope anymore. And it's still to this day kind of like that. But again, it's funny, it's hard for any other parents like that out there. You start becoming that, you're identified as that special needs parent. So when you go pick up your child, it's like, oh, that's that, she's someone with the little boy over there. That kind of, you saw the typical parents gathering, and a lot of parents are actually afraid. And I think some think they will actually catch, and I've heard them say this, if they're too close to my child, they'll catch his disease, like something's wrong with him. Like there's parents who actually think that they think the behavior will catch on. And even though they think, they don't see autism as just what someone has. There's quite a lot of judgment out there, actually. I mean, looking back, I was just very worried, anxious about it. But eventually I have learned over time. I'm like, I'm now like, I don't care what you think. But for a while I was like, oh my God, why are you judging me? It was just very hard to feel that. But now, because I've been through how many years of it, 5, 6, 7 years, I'm like, don't care.
Well,
But
you've learned, right? Like you've learned that
yeah,
it's not you, it's actually them, right? They're
yeah,
not the problem, they're the problem, because we should never judge another human. We're all human. And as you're talking, I'm like, my God, if there's anything that this story can bring out, that is empathy. Let's just all be empathetic and human towards one another. That could have been them, that could be anybody. We can all end up in each other's shoes anytime, right? And the only like my only plea would be to other mothers and to other parents is like, let's just all empathize with one another, I want you to share a story that I think is so amazingly powerful.
what did
That is your, huh?
I get? Oh no, sorry, look away, I'm muted for a sec, go ahead.
That was your day in the life of Joelle, when you got that phone call, because you talked about this experience of when your son would have a meltdown or something would happen, you'd get a phone call, and you knew, oh my God, it's the dreaded phone call. I got to drop everything, I got to run, I got to pick him up because I got to be there,
Yeah,
and I got to firefight, right? Can you share that moment? That was, I'm going to call it a slightly defining moment, because it
yeah,
resulted in making the decision that you can't continue to be a teacher anymore, right? And that you needed to
yeah.
change. So if you could please share that, because I think that is so amazingly powerful. And if this doesn't help shine a light on what a parent in your shoes is going through, I don't know what can or what will.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind sharing that, I
No,
would greatly appreciate it.
no, 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 of course, no. I just, when I took my one of my last jobs, I was there. It's a short stint, got a 6 month job, thinking, okay, well, hopefully I can keep this contract. Because before then, I've left contracts before because it just emergency times, as I like to call it, have to go. And basically, the office a few times tried to get me. It was lunchtime, and I was about 1 o'clock, about to start teaching my grade again. I think it was year 3, year 4, whatever it was. And again, they said, your husband really wants to talk to you. I said, okay. So again, and I got his message. He said, you need to come home now, basically. And I need on my phone, and I sent checked a text message. Yes, now you need to leave your job now. And it was like thinking, oh my God, what's happened? Because the power in that message just went. And so suddenly I'm like thinking, okay, what's happened? He's only been at school for how long now? Has he hurt someone? Has he bit someone? Has glasses been broken? What has happened? Has he been excluded? Panicking, like not knowing what's going on, because just, that something awful happened. And the other thought that popped in my head was, because this has happened before, very sadly, other schools, I hope to God he wasn't restrained by 4 people again, by 2 or 3 people because of his behavior, holding him down to calm him down. Because that has happened at other schools where I've actually once watched, and I couldn't do nothing better, as they're trying to calm him, 3 or 4 people hold him, and then because he was trying to hurt them because he was upset. But as I'm watching, I'm going, and they call it positive handling, which I'm like, again, he's 7 or 8. How would you feel with these people over top of you? Um, and again, I'm just watching, going, oh my God, like trauma, like what do I do in this situation? Like, just like, and again, so again, of course, I leave right away. I call, I'm so sorry, I have to go now. And pretty much that afternoon, that next day said, this job's done. Sorry, I can't. Um, and he was at home. So I call home, and again, and all I could hear is my husband's quite upset. He's, again, I think he was a bit angry, but upset because it's just everything happening for the second or third time again. It's not the first school that's done this. And I mean, we have a binder of papers of proof of his exclusions because we need it for his his IEP support. So we need to prove what he's been through, basically. And then we basically hear his voice. He's sounding super stressed. I hear Logan in the background just crying, angry. Why do they want me? Why do I have to leave? It's not the end of the school day, and you could just hear their really upset voice. So again, and I'm trying to drive home, not too panicked because I don't want to, of course, hurt my, and I get there, and again, of course, as I do, say, just go, Simon, just take a break, and I'm with him, and I don't know how long it was. I had to hold him and just calm him, and again, I probably for at least a day or two, he couldn't even leave him because he's just that upset and frustrated with it about what's going on, and then just the whole thing of us knowing, and then finding out after the fact what happened was, I guess he was something to do with student, and then they took him out of a room or something, and then I don't remember what happened was even, and then of course they got upset, and so they're holding him down, and then I actually found out later on too, and again that the head teacher was actually yelling at him, which pushed me over the edge. I was like, excuse me. And it was supposed to be a permanent exclusion, but I thought, no, no, that's fine if he can't go there anymore. But it's not, I'm not having a permanent exclusion on his record. That's just not right. So, and again, you don't even know if they were trained, do they know how to actually hold them and all this stuff. So all this going through your head. And then of course, then thinking, I just left my job. What do I do? And then again, at that moment, all you're thinking is just of your child. And then you have to somehow pull yourself out of there. And of course, the next step is basically me going on firefight to call the system. I need a school. I need this. How can we help them? Um, and again, you're doing this as you're trying, as you're realizing what's happened. So you don't have time even to deal with what happened yet, or do you try to anyway? Again, sometimes at night, just have a bit of a cry and a breakdown and go, what has happened here? And I think I go from modes, to be honest, where I'm so angry at the school and the system to modes where I'm so upset that my little boy is being treated this way. So it's this like you can't even explain all the emotion that you're going through because of what really a lot of they're not they people say it is an inclusive society, but they're not everyone's trained enough how to deal with the situation. But out of all that, it led me to actually leave the job, take a break from teaching, which I was so used to. And because of that, I got back into my nature walks, started, doing stuff with my dog and my husband, which was nice because we actually could see each other sometimes, besides being exhausted all the time. And it was sad because it really was the dog walk and myself and him was a date because we couldn't go out at night half the time. Because with a child like my little guy, to get a babysitter that can handle him, I could tell you horror stories of babysitting tales. I kind of gave up after a while. I think one I came home and I don't think this babysitter will ever babysit again. My little kids were covered up to their neck in looked like black tar because they found the bathroom of the black powder used to whiten teeth and somehow mixed it with water and made a sludge mess. So just picture the scene. And so I think the sitter basically gave up after 5 minutes. So we had a half-hour date, I think, and got back and I went, oh my God. And I went, towel.
So, so Joelle, before we
Leave you at that.
it's so scary. It's funny, right? Like you gotta laugh or you're crying, right? But
I laugh now because it is funny now.
yeah, in hindsight, there are two things that I want to highlight in what you shared. One is I have a friend at work who also has a son with special needs. And, I'm almost ashamed to say it, but I'm not going to judge myself. In that, I never realized the complexities of managing a career and a household where you have a kid with special needs.
Yeah.
And, I thought it was hard. It was hard being a professional with two kids, right? I'm like, oh my God, right? But nowhere near. And, sometimes we will sit and eat lunch. And the things that she talks about is not the logistics. The things that she talks about is my son got bullied. I had to sit and talk to him and explain to him how he's perfect just the way he is. It's the
Yeah.
emotional, right? And his emotional trauma is her emotional trauma times 10, I'm sure, as a parent,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times it's not even what was physically done to her son that really keeps her, almost in tears. It's the emotional element. And, obviously sometimes she needs to take time off, which is totally understandable. But if there's one thing that I could say from my experience, having been now exposed to just this most beautiful sunshine. She's a sunshine. If I could call anyone a sunshine, it would be her. Like she's so beloved, right? Everybody adores her. But if there's anything I can say is we all need to be a little bit more understanding in our workplace of the parents, of the mothers and the fathers that are dealing with kids with special needs. And if they need to take off, trust me, them being there for their child and their family is so much more important than attending any meeting, any work related event. And let's just everybody have a little bit more patience, compassion, and empathy for these working parents, and that would be the only thing I can say, especially having gotten the exposure and really seeing it, what it's doing to her emotionally, not to
Yeah.
even go physically. So that's the one thing that I wanted to highlight. But the second thing that and you ended up having to leave your career. You had to stop being a teacher because of this, right? So we're losing, as a result of our lack of understanding
Yep.
or having the flexibility, right, in our systems to accommodate parents with special needs, we're losing this brilliant talent because this brilliant talent can't continue to stay in the workforce because they feel like they can't, they're not performing up to par. We're not feeling like letting them feel like it's okay. Like we understand and we get it, right? So it's
Yeah.
a lose-lose on both sides because I'm sure you would have loved to remain a teacher and but it's a lose-lose on both sides of the equation. So that's the first thing that I want to say. But the second thing that I want to also highlight is all I could think about is just woman to woman, mother to mother, and what you went through each and every one of those times. And what do I hear you talk about? I'm there for my son. I'm worried about my son. I'm there for my husband. I'm worried about my husband, and I'm sitting and I'm like, and where is Joelle in all of that? Joelle gets to have a cry late at night. And then she has to wake up with a brave face and a smile on her,
Yep.
on her face, and just to like go and welcome the day and go and fight the system and go and be this firefighter, right? And I think that this is so common amongst women, especially. Not to stereotype, but I know especially
Yeah.
amongst women, we just take on all the emotional burdens and all the logistical burdens. And I think that your story really highlights that, that self-sacrifice. Joelle doesn't matter, or Vicki doesn't matter. I went through the same journey. So like I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying, right? So but guess what? Joelle does matter.
I'm learning
A
that now
lot,
as I get older. I do
a
matter. I
lot,
need to make it important.
a lot, a lot, a lot. And so tell us how through this, I'm going to call it darkness, difficulty, did you find yourself? Did it lead you to I'm going to call it rediscovering
Yeah.
you, because I think it's such a beautiful story, and we're actually going to screen share a couple of
Oh.
nuggets. So stay tuned. So Joelle, share a little bit how you rediscovered yourself and what led you to be where you are now.
Basically, I through all that, I realized how exhausted I was, how tired I was, trying to balance a career, take care of my children, just sleep, do basic things, and not in mention say they can go. I'm like, I want to get in better shape again. Like I don't being like this. I want to feel me again. And so I kind of did outdoor walks with my husband, discovered nature, and then started taking up photography and realizing how much I loved my trees and my animals. Got a little bit wacky about the trees, shall we say. And I felt like I was literally, the trees were talking to me about their feelings and their energies and what's going on. And I would take pictures, and then later on, again, I would just kind of play with them, and I just started it, have fun, and then just start playing with them, and going, "Oh, these look really cool." This to me talks about when someone's this tree looks like it's hugging someone. My most favorite one, as I created in the early stages, was, and I'm still love this group of trees when I see it. It's just they're falling over, they're kind of crooked, they're kind of wonky looking, all in one area. But I thought of that's my path. I have a unique path. We all have a different path. I mean, we're all different, to a lot of people, though, what I was looking at would look like a big mess. Like, no, they're not perfect.
Mm.
But to me, it was beautiful. I could just stare at it for hours. And again, so that I was so when I'd find creating it, I had to kind of highlight a bit of it and just kind of play with it. And I still, finally enough, that's one of the photos that I printed off that my son has in his room. He loves it to this day. And I was supposed to sell it, but he wouldn't let me.
I love it.
So, and again, it was amazing. And I still do that. And now it's become lately swans and birds because of my little girl, which finally has taken a really interesting turn, actually. I just got to find the finances. I'm working on that right now. As I say, manifest it. I was talking to someone about possibly doing a little story on honor of my little girl and the anxiety she goes through, which we didn't often talk about here, but the siblings of these older ones with autism, they go through so much and they're ignored and they need support, and it's just scary. But what's come out of this is that I'm talking to someone, a ghost writer they call them, to write a story using my crazy looking Canadian geese with mohawks about having anxiety and being the sibling of a child with autism. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to try it.
Course. You got to keep saying yes to like all of these amazing opportunities that come to you. Just keeps, my motto is just say yes to life. It's just going to happen for you. Tell me a little bit about what inspires your work. And maybe this is a good time for us to showcase some of your work. And maybe you can narrate over, what we're seeing and how you're interpreting what you
Yeah.
see, right, through your artwork and through your photography. So I am going to quickly screen share here.
Ooh, I have lots of art. This will be interesting to see which one you pull up.
Okay, so I'm clicking on screen share. I've got this going. Okay. So walk us through maybe some of your favorite works of art and what inspired them. My God, I'm actually going to very quickly flip through this just so that people get to see just how gorgeous. I mean, this is gorgeous. I love it. I absolutely love, love, love. Look at this. This is spectacular.
Do you want to start with that swan one? Do you see the colorful swan?
Where do you want me to stop?
Go
Sorry,
go go back down again.
up or down?
Go up, I think. Up. A bit more up. Up. You're going down.
This one?
Stop. See the swan in the middle?
Yeah.
The colorful swan?
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the one in the middle is the colorful swan with the pink and the yellow and the
Yep.
greens and the
Right here.
blues. Yeah, that's what I did much more recently. And that's after doing the business kind of conscientious course and with meeting new people. I saw these great swans, and this was actually a swan my little girl fell in love with. Calls it Snowy. And it was a picture of Snowy all puffed up and, guarding the little cygnets. So it was a nice little birding tour we did together. And I had fun with it because I wanted to make it I wanted to make it show my spiritual journey of me redefining myself, coming out, getting to know me better with the yellows and the pinks and the yellow, that's the me coming out, the releasing who I really want to be. And then the pinks and then the blues and stuff are still working on it. We're still in progress, just showing that everyone, can get to know who they are and release those emotions of trauma or sadness or loss. Because I often say it's weird. I never thought of it, but someone told me this is when you're a special needs mom, you do actually have a loss of having a regular child because your life is very different. It's not what you expect it to be. It's a different kind of loss. Um, Again, because you don't, your child grows up differently. And again, it's great. I wouldn't change it for a moment, but again, it's just, so this piece, I love to use the color just to show the bright feelings coming out. And I love to use nature just to show the human feelings in a more fun way, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course. Um, could we show maybe some of these other works of art? Anything that you
Yeah.
want to highlight that I'm showing on here that really inspired you? I know
You
you
stop
have,
there.
yeah,
Oh,
where?
the rose. Do you see the green and the purple rose go down?
Right
Right
here?
there, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one that was more recently too. I did that one because I'm just trying to show again, thinking of the beautiful positiveness, the energies coming out. Nature's energy can heal everyone and is just there to help you and to make you feel whole again. And I found that rose and just drew me to it. And I just wanted to look at it. It's just beautiful, halfway kind of open. And again, I realized how much I love digital because I can use the color and the edging and just the filters just to make it bring out that powerful feeling of just here, like pure emotion, pure joy trying to come out. But if you look in the inside, the black and the green, that's that vulnerable person still feeling not quite ready. Just
Mhm.
that's that anxious, the anxiety that, I know I feel, I'm sure others do.
Well, there's that little bit of darkness on the inside, if I look at it,
Mm,
right? But then there's like brightness on the outside, and the darkness is releasing itself, right? Because there's this
yeah.
like color transition that happens, right? The darkness is releasing and it's turning into all of this like colorfulness about the rose. So, but then you also talked about in one of our conversations about you not modifying any of your digital art and
No.
just seeing such perfection in nature that you just leave it as is. Is there an
Yeah.
example here that you could showcase?
If you go up, stop there. See that green one? Go up again.
This one? Where?
No, keep going up. No,
There's nothing
I
else.
think our up and down is too. Stop.
This
Sorry.
one?
That one in the middle. Do you see that one
Yeah.
with the pathway?
Yeah.
The green forest and the pathway. I mean, I think all I really did is honestly make the green a bit brighter just to bring the brown path out because it's just to me walking down that path, it's just the energy from it, the feeling, how calm you feel, how amazing you feel, and how welcoming it is that you just to me, I just didn't want to touch it because that's where I want to be. I would be there forever if I could, walking on that pathway.
Yeah. And I think it's also kind of if you look at it, it's very symbolic, right, of your life. You don't know where the path leads. You
Nope.
don't know. None of us knows, but it is slowly being revealed to us step by step as we continue to say yes or no to things in our lives, right? But no matter what, you will be okay. I think if there's anything that nature or our experiences teach us is that as scary as this very moment might seem, you will still be okay. Just like this path, you're on it, you're going somewhere, you don't know where, but you're still surrounded by lots of beauty, lots of love, lots of perfection
Yeah.
in all of this imperfection. And so I love it. I love it. You have one that I didn't see featured here, and I'm going to quickly go through. I think this is
It's
some of
hard to
your
say.
newer
I take
stuff.
so many all the time.
Yeah. Nope, that's totally fine. But I saw one that you posted. It was like two trees that were like kind of like leaning into each other, and it almost looked like there was a heart in the middle that you had
Oh,
posted. And
I
I
don't.
was like,
It may not be on the site because it's hard because I can't only put so much on different spots. Yeah, it's one I think where the trees lean over into the water, and you can see the reflection. And it's literally, it does look like that because it was such a bright, perfect sunny day that it looks like a heart in the middle. But the tree is actually, for some reason, grew towards the lake. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Actually grew towards the water. I'm not sure if it's on this one, to be honest.
No, I flipped through it. I didn't see, but that's okay. I mean, Joelle, you have so much gorgeous, gorgeous art and interpretation, right? I also like the fact that you're also giving it your own interpretation. It's not just like you taking photos of what is, you also
Yeah.
give your own lens, right? And your own emotion and your own feeling. So I absolutely love that. So tell us, how and where can people find you? Let's start there.
The best bet is to go Instagram. Again, it's at Joelle Edgecombe, which I can send you as well to put down there. And then message me from there if they need, because again, I can send the links to my sites there as well, because I have a few sites. So again, I'm in ongoing in progress trying to find the best way to show my art on websites because there's a lot out there. And again, I'm a great at the photography, but the website part I'm not as great at.
We created everything. That's why they have web developers.
Exactly. And the other thing is too, if you like it as well, you can see more. I started doing the TikTok, just to put my art into a little kind of little fun, little musical, emotional. I like to say it's more of emotional health, reels. Just some make you smile, some you make cry, because some are a bit more serious about autism, but some are just fun, like my dog having a funny in his belly scratch, doing something funny. Like it just depends on the mood I'm in that day, to be honest, and what photos I took that day. And that's TikTok. And then if you look at it, it's at Step Into My World 18. So again, I put that down there as well. But again, I put them again, it's really quite funny because the newest one I put was yesterday. I went to my little boy's school, his new school, very excited after how many years of looking for it. And they have alpacas, they have chickens, they have everything. And I got some up close pictures of alpacas for the first time in my life, and they're quite weird looking creatures. I couldn't
Oh, I
figure out what
love
they look like.
alpacas. Yes, we go to alpaca farms with my kids, and then you can buy and like you feed them. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, and I made a video because I was looking at them. I was going, kind of looks like a horse, but a camel, but a what? Trying to figure what they look like because they're very
So
strange looking.
cute. Oh my God,
They,
they're so cute.
yeah.
Please,
So that
I
was my
bet.
recent one today. I went alpaca crazy. I went, okay, let's do an alpaca video today.
Oh my God. Yes, I have to see that because we love alpacas. In fact, like we bought the little stuffed animals that look like alpacas. They're so adorable. Anyways, not to digress.
Yeah,
So I will make sure that we put your website, your Instagram, your
yeah.
TikTok in the notes. So people can absolutely see all the links and how they can find you. And let's like tell me if you had a magic wand, what would you be able to use your art for?
It's such a tough one. I would love to be able to sell it, like for products to promote promotional health, to promote inclusivity. So to be able to, for example, at autism clinics or different clinics out there, just for them to use it to show that we're strong, we're courageous. It's a tough journey, but we'll do it. And I would like to be able to just promote it that way to help people learn and also understand what we go through. But at the same time, with the profits, again, through the promotion, through whether it's artwork, whether it's helping sell, like helping teach empathy, whether it's helping teach compassion. Um, I would love to give a portion of it to families like myself who had to leave work, who basically went from having a decent job to being broke, who, again, you have no energy. You're trying to just to cope with their child. That again, just to help give them those bit, whether you can buy stuff that they need or give them some money for rent or whatever it may be, to support those families that in that situation, they're just dealing with enough as is. They're just, coping minute to minute, second to second. Again, like that'd be where I'd like to go. It's hard to say where my art will be the most, well, pop up. I just want to keep creating it, to be honest. I'd love to make it. And if I can, use it to support others and help others and support my family, so then I don't have to worry about having to leave a job or having to say to my boss, sorry, my child is having another meltdown as your boss gives you that look. Just that would be amazing just to, again, I also do love doing it. To be honest, I do love going to exhibitions as well and sharing it because I love people. So there's also, excuse me, that part of me. I love being around people, as you know, talking to you.
Oh, I love that. I love that you have you're expressing yourself, you're bringing so much beauty into this world, and you have like this purpose behind it. So I love it. I love our conversation. I'm so grateful. Again, please, please, please support, Joelle, and her art and the mission that she's on. And if you can't support her financially by buying the art, right? Then let's just support families that are,
Yeah.
that are struggling. And it doesn't cost us anything to be empathetic, to be kind, to smile at someone instead of judging them. It doesn't cost us anything to say a kind word of understanding to someone, to ask somebody, hey, how are you? How can I help you? This doesn't cost us anything. And so, thank you. I'm so grateful to you for our conversation. Um, I feel like we're going to have more conversations because I'm
I
so
agree,
excited.
definitely. And I say, and to leave you in this note, I mean, if anyone ever sees a situation, leave them on this to think about. Like, I can tell you one, I'll just sum it up very quickly. In the Serpentine in a mall, I'm sitting on the floor. There's people walking both sides of me, going by the shops. My child doesn't have a meltdown because I had to take something away. I mean, it's a mummy thing, right? But he's doing the truly autism meltdown, kicking, screaming. I'm holding him to keep him calm because we're on the floor and I'm sitting with him. And you see all these people staring at me. And I mean, I just want to say to the people, you know what? Just look away. If this is, please, please, just help. And I'll leave them with one amazing person from, I think it was Tesco, like the grocery store over here, shop, came over out of everyone and said, would you like a water? I'm like, oh my God, thank you.
Yep.
Because I mean, and this is what people don't realize, like, you see something and right away, in my head, I know what a lot of them were thinking. What's that child doing and why?
Yeah.
But they had no clue what actually really was going on.
Yeah. And I think that summarizes it. I think
Yeah.
that's it. So thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your art with the world and continue to create. Just continue. It's amazing and it's beautiful. So thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have an amazing, amazing day. And I can't wait for everyone to get to see this conversation. I know it's going to change lives. So
And of
thank you.
course, I know we'll talk more as well.
Yes, we will. For
Bye.
sure. For sure.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.